Allora, ragazzi, we are here with the one and only Mr. I Am Casa. A good friend from Italy is joining us after last week's fun auction where we met and had some beautiful watches in our hands that we're going to discuss today.
Yep.
Are you enjoying Amsterdam so far?
So much. Thank you for having me. It was great. I'm enjoying pretty much, yes.
And the store, how about the lounge? Because it's your home for the next 3 days.
It's the first time I've ever heard of it, really, but it's kind of weird sleeping like on a portrait of yourself. But
did you sleep on the portrait?
No, he kept it in the bed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm only there, so
just lie on top.
I'm guessing you like the rug in your bedroom
so much,
right?
Can
you can say fuck.
Great.
You can say cazzo or whatever you wish.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
No, the rug is amazing. You have the crash rug. That's like in front of the bed, so you wake up on a watch, and so like you know where you at if you lost your memory accidentally.
Because I saw this one, it's pretty similar to the crash.
Yes,
you never saw it before, right?
No.
It's pretty dope. Can you tell us something about the watch?
Yes, this is the actually probably possibly one and only watch inspired truly by Salvador Dali and recalling all his masterpieces, his works. In my opinion, wears better than a crash, and for really a lot of people it reminds of the crash because of all the shape.
Yeah.
But actually it's super ergonomic, being not straight but a little bit adapted to the wrist. It's from a brand that's called Geneva that never exists anymore, and I mean, it's like the perfect conversation starter.
What are your thoughts on it?
I thought Barba Papa watch.
Barba Papa watch. Well, I have to.
Do you have Barba Papa in Italy?
Yeah, we had them.
I can understand it because it kind of looks
fun.
like.
It looks fun.
It looks like
It's less edgy.
It is.
However, what I do like is the sizing is spot on. I believe.
It's really better than.
Definitely.
I'm sorry for that. We have many appointments coming through in the next door store. So for all the international clientele that is watching, or potential clientele, or followers from Mr. I Am Casa, Mr. Andrea, what you might not know is we have the lounge next door to the store, and we can also hear the bell here. So sorry for the inconvenience. However, what we're going to do today is we're going to discuss some auction lots.
Yep.
Dennis was his first time at the auction. I go many times,
in Geneva.
But for Dennis, it was the first time in Geneva because we took him from the auction at Christie's. So he used to work from Christie's.
Yep.
So he is pretty familiar with the auction, yet not the auction weekends in Geneva. No. How did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Great city. Really pretty. Loved it.
Full of Italians.
Nice.
Yeah.
We didn't meet any Italians.
we met many Italians.
Really? I can't remember.
Man. First time for real.
Mostly Jews, I think we met.
I'm not sure if that's smart to say on camera, but sure.
Okay.
What we're going to do now is we're going to scroll through some lots. We're going to discuss some lots. And we're starting with, I believe it's one of your favorite brands. The watch is right in front of us.
It is. And by the way, like 10 minutes ago when I posted, like, what do you want to know from Jasper and from the guys, a lot of people ask me, like, why the hell do you like Cartier so much? And it's the same question I'm asking myself. But the answer for me is like, look at this. I mean, the design. We're talking about the Tanka Guichet from Philips, the 2006 version, but still. It's
a classic. It's almost in production now, or at least it first saw light almost 100 years ago, when this was pretty radical. And you especially are very fond of the jump hours, aren't you?
Definitely. Especially between 1920s and 1930s, they made a lot. AP has a really nice one.
Many brands made them back then. Now it's pretty uncommon.
We tried to sell it to Chopard. That they should make one.
We had a dinner with Chopard, with Mr. Schäufele himself also, Carl Fried, and the gentleman called Juan Garcia, a good friend of ours. And they said, okay, what would you make if you would be us? And we said, you need to make a similar model with a jump hour, like a Tenka Guichet. The 2817 is one of my favorite models, and this was very exciting. That's the reason why I picked this lot, because we wanted to know how much it was going for, because 2 days before the auction we closed a deal on this watch paying 80,000 euros. 80,000 euros, and the estimate on this lot was between 14 and 23,000 euros. So I was so afraid that the watch would sell for like 40 or 50k, but I already had a hunch it would go high. It achieved 100k Swiss francs, that is, and I believe it's justified. How about you?
And it took some time before it reached 100k.
We were stressing, like we were in the back of the room, and it was like 24. Can I hear 27? I'm gonna hammer at 30k, and then we're like, dude, no, please don't hammer. And in the end, it went
I think
up.
if this was auctioned off at Christie's, it would go for 30.
There was
because our box was really pulling it out.
Yeah, I mean, so really similar one went up at Monaco Legend Group. I don't know if it was the exact same reference, but I really think so. And I mean, for me, it's the most like the best executed jumping hour watch that you can find.
Well, there's another Cartier Tankagish that has the crown. They made it 3 examples in yellow gold. It just sold for 200k at auction at the Antiquorum auction, which is not incorporated in these lots since we were not there when it happened. And it has the winding, the crown on top.
Okay, yeah.
Which I also like, but I'm sorry for interrupting.
No worries. I think that, I mean, this is also a limited edition, so not so many are around.
100 pieces, I believe.
Yeah. And that one was pristine condition, if I remember well.
True.
I actually didn't try it on this time, because have you been to the preview from Monaco Legend?
No.
From David's auction? I mean, they had 2. They had one of these and the platinum with platinum bracelet, which was massive, really amazing watch. But I think that that's the price that, like, nowadays that's
it's
the price.
Justified.
Yeah, super
And in
justified.
2 years we will think, you know, it's cheap.
Probably. And I think that a lot of people already, like, not everyone likes jumping hour watches. I've heard so many people saying, what is it? It has no hands.
Yeah.
I mean, where are the hands?
But therefore it's a real connoisseur's watch, I believe. And that's also the thing that really pulled you to it, because it's not a conventional watch.
Yeah, but also the way it wears on the wrist is just something different.
Yeah, it has a very strong presence on the wrist because you can see a lot of metal.
It is very tank.
In
a proper war way.
In the meantime, we also purchased another watch at auction, a Cartier. Since we do not spend that much money on auction because of the premiums and stuff, we picked up this beautiful Benoir.
I remember it.
Back in the auction room, so we were actually sitting in the auction room having some conversations, making deals, and besides buying a Paul Newman, we also got this watch from the same gentleman, which is a pretty cool Benoir manual wind, 2605. It's a beautiful watch, especially in the allongé shape. It's rather large. But I think I can still pull it off, right?
Yeah, it wears great. I mean, in the picture, it's maybe even not as good as in reality. I was talking with Ramon yesterday about it, because I asked him if he liked it, and he said no. Then he tried on, and was like, okay, yes, I like it. Definitely.
That's the thing. A Cartier you always have to wear, and you have to properly match it with your outfit, I believe. Yeah. It can uplift an outfit.
You know that I think that it's a watch that you can pull off with every outfit. Like if you're with a sweater and a crash, I mean,
Kanye West or Tyler the Creator.
Yep, but also with a good tank. I mean, I wear my tank like with everything for real. Like,
well, I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of wearing those watches too casually, because I think they're so elegant. I believe a combination of an elegant outfit with an elegant Cartier, it's 1 + 1 is 3 for me.
Yeah, I can feel it, but still, I think that our watches like that polarize the attention, so
that's true.
You really notice them.
That's true. Okay, now we're done with Cartier. Next watch is the most ridiculous sale I ever.
That was stupid.
Everyone.
It was stupid. We were actually, it's the 2915 Omega Speedmaster, and we were actually having lunch.
I remember
we heard some guys saying it reached 600,000. This is crazy. So we were all gathered around the table, watching the auction live from the restaurant.
Yeah, because the restaurant was next to the auction place. So we were sitting in La Réserve to have lunch with many dealers, because the upcoming lots that were then were a little bit boring, including this one. It has an estimate of 120k, that's the high estimate. And what Dennis says, indeed, at a certain point everybody was gathered around the phone, and when it reached 1 million, we were like,
this is crazy.
Either there's something wrong with the system, and
we thought maybe
they added an extra zero or something.
Wrong picture.
Yeah, or wrong picture, like the wrong lot. So we tuned in live on the auction, and everyone was like, this is insane.
Yep, insane. But it's super intelligent that this happened, because everyone in Geneva was talking about it, like for 3 days straight.
Yeah, so therefore
Yeah.
also many people say it might be a marketing stunt from Omega. I don't know if you know what they did with Antiquorum with the Omega Mania auction.
No.
It was
not
before
really.
our time, to be honest. This was like 2006 or so, where Omega started bidding on many of their own watches to get the prices real
Yeah.
high, so people really perceived Omega to be collectible and good investment and blah blah. And this might be the case too, albeit there being two people lifting the price here. We don't know who purchased it in the end for 3 million
Yep.
with an estimate of fucking 120,000
Yeah.
euros. Regardless, I believe this price is absolutely the most unjustifiable
Yep.
price in
Yeah.
the history of auction results I have ever seen, and so did anybody else there. I said it to Serjan, and I had to because he was coming in when we were sitting in the restaurant, and then it was only at 2 million. So Serjan came in the restaurant. He's like, "What are you all watching?" And we were like, "Dude, because the Omega it's now live." He's like, "Dude, so what?" I said, "Haven't you heard it? It reached 2 million already." He started laughing. He said, "No, it's a joke." And then it hammered at fucking 3 million.
Yep.
Yeah.
But-
It's crazy when you think about the person who brought this in, right?
Yeah.
If it wasn't the marketing stunt, the person who brought this in, man, you would shit yourself. Really.
Yeah.
He came to the auction thinking he would maybe grasp 100k. He
Yeah.
leaves a millionaire.
Yeah. Amazing.
Crazy.
But
Crazy
actually,
great.
what I heard is that probably there was somebody really wanting this special piece, and
Yeah, and where
someone
money is
just
no option.
inflated
Yeah.
We
the
shouldn't
price.
rule that out.
Yeah.
It might be just two people really wanting the watch and they don't want to give up and they're loaded with cash and they wanted this watch.
Yeah.
Yet I don't believe then again the 2915 one is the first Omega Speedmaster in the world. It's a beautiful brown color, but there were some voices saying the watch was relumed as well. I don't believe, whatever way you look at it, this watch will ever reach a certain amount again.
Again, no, that's for sure.
Any other day,
Wasn't
any
there
other auction.
2915 in Antiquorum?
Yeah, but it's
What-
2915 2,
Okay.
so a slightly later
Do you
version.
know what it is?
No, I have no
No.
clue, but probably.
Should check it out.
Yeah, probably it didn't even reach 100k.
Yeah.
But also props to the Philips auction team.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it takes a whole lot to get the clientele wanting a watch like this for
Yep.
such an amount.
And the auction was another record, if I got it right.
It's the
Like
most expensive Omega ever because it topped now the Elvis Presley one, I
Yep.
believe, right?
No, but also the whole auction.
Yeah, 70 million.
Yeah,
they
it
reached
was
70
amazing,
million.
so-
Yeah. Mm.
Shout out for real.
But we're not done yet with Philips. We have quite some
Yeah,
watches
yeah.
up next. This one is beautiful.
Lovely.
To emphasize. 88,000 euro reach for the Blancpain 50 Fathoms, a watch that we had quite some times, 4 or 5 pieces we've had
Same
in a couple,
conditions.
3 years. Similar condition. This one was a strong example.
Yep.
A rare one too. But I believe it shows the market is still looking for these really iconic pieces, even outside the usual suspect of Rolex, Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, etc. And therefore I like to include this one in.
Yeah, you did great. I mean, it's a proper watch for sure. It's iconic as you said, and I mean, in these conditions, it's really something. It's a watch that you don't see that often, and maybe you don't talk about that often. But actually, it's a historical, super historical model, and I think it shows also the will not to go, as you said, on a already known path, and to explore some more. And I think that Blancpain deserves it.
Yeah.
So it's a good result. It's not as high as other ones. Like it
Yeah, but
didn't
still.
make that much noise, but still, it's a great watch on the wrist actually.
Difficult watch for buying, eh? Yes.
Yeah, it's a
50
difficult watch for buying because many are put together with loose parts, etc. But they do offer Blancpain themselves. They do offer a beautiful service where you bring in the watch
It's crazy.
and they
Really
give you a 4 or 5 page result
Wow. You know,
of their own investigation of every part of the watch being original, etc. So that's a beautiful thing they do too. Yet we had a pretty similar watch. We tend to sell them for half the price. Then again, I would like to emphasize the auction results are
Yes.
always leading
Higher.
and not, it's always higher and it's not leading for the market value. But I think I would rather spend 300,000 euros for this watch than 3 million
for the
for
Omega.
the Omega.
Yeah, I think the 3 million is really the most like out of this world result.
Like on every level, not
Yeah.
even on just aesthetically. I prefer the Blancpain over the Speedmaster. But then again, also historically importance, the Blancpain is minimum at the same level on par
Yeah.
with the Speedmaster, being the first dive watch in a certain execution with a bidirectional bezel that ever was conceived.
Was the Omega from someone important? No, actually.
It wasn't. It wasn't. So it didn't
Same.
even have some provenance. It was owned
That's
by whatever Buzz Aldrin or
Yeah,
something.
that's
You know,
it.
that one
Because
is
for
not-
the Buzz Aldrin one, I made
Didn't
this
go to
plan.
the moon.
It didn't go to the moon if the watch.
Before the moon landing.
There we go. You know, so.
Yeah.
And the
it's-
tropical, you have to like the like a tropical dial.
Of course.
It's not something that you can pull off that easily. In my I mean, I prefer a gloss one, black one,
Yeah.
to a tropical one. So, really, when I saw the Omega, I was like, okay, right, for real.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's funny because we once had a 2915-2 offered in the store. How long ago?
Can't remember.
2 years ago or so?
Probably.
Maybe longer, like 3 years
Longer.
ago, from a lady who had offered the
yeah.
watch to like a
Yeah.
local jeweler
I
who
remember,
offered her
yeah.
like 1,600 euros. Then another watch boutique in Amsterdam, who we won't mention, offered her like 4,000 euros. And she came to the store and said, I wanted to sell this. Can you give me 5,000 for it? And we checked the watch and we were like, okay, this watch is a 100,000 euro watch. So we said, okay, thank you for offering, but this is a different watch than you might see if you just Google it. This watch is worth way more. We can give you 80,000 euros. And then
dude,
you think she would be happy, but in the end she didn't sell it to us because she was shocked. And then she realized it could be even more, and she put it on auction at Christie's, I believe.
Yeah.
So we could have bought it for 5,000, but you know that's not fair.
It's gonna
so-
hunt you.
no, but
Yeah.
it's maybe she will be back with another one. Better
Yeah,
one.
but the
Probably,
problem is,
probably not.
and probably not. But the problem is how do you do such a thing properly? Because you cannot give her 5,000 euro because then you're a scam artist. But if you give her a fair offer, she's gonna be shocked and she's not selling it either.
Yeah.
You
We were
don't get
actually
it.
discussing it, right? So I think only thing what would have worked if we look back was consignment.
Yeah.
Consignment maybe,
Yeah.
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 And then get like 5 or 10% of the sales price,
Yeah.
so she knows she would get a fair offer or
Yeah.
fair
So when
price.
probably when she got offered 4 and now we offer 80, she probably thought, oh, it would be 200,000 euro. watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people who
But-
watch us, like they look at auction results, and
Mhm.
maybe today she would have asked like
Yeah.
a million.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Next watch, the first Patek Philippe on the list, is a watch that for me truly stands out on every auction. And every auction actually almost includes one, but this is specifically a beautiful example. My favorite
It is.
ever was sold to the 2499 with the Esprit signed. This is a very early series with the square pushers, 2499 Serpico Elino signed,
Yep.
reached 3.5 million.
that is the first series, right? I
Yes,
guess.
sir. Yeah.
I have a question first for you two. You like it was something that everyone was asking during the auction. 2499 first series or 1518?
1518 for sure.
Okay.
Yet, I prefer 1518 is, in my opinion, a more honorable watch, also given the history.
Sure.
Yet, I prefer round pushers, so I rather go for a later series 2499 over the 1518.
Yeah,
Same answer I would
Round
have
pushers,
given.
yes.
Yep.
Right?
for sure.
Yep.
But it also,
Any day.
because the 2499 they also made in different cases with the Fichet casing and everything.
Sure.
So it has so many nice examples, while the 1518 might be a little bit boring. There's more variation in the 2499, so somebody could also vouch for the 2499 over the 1518 because it's so wide.
Yeah, but where's more modern in my opinion on the wrist?
That's for sure, and especially this one because it
Yes.
has this bracelet.
Exactly.
It's so strong, the watch. It's so cool. We had it in the preview, we saw it, and it's really an excellent example. The dial is crisp. 3.5 million sounds like a lot, but then again, I want to point this out because if you put this watch next to the Omega Speedmaster, you know it's
Yeah.
5 times this one.
it's like putting Cristiano Ronaldo next to
Me.
next
I
to
don't
you
know,
and
like-
say, yeah, well, he's also a great football player. Maybe you want to buy him too for 100 million. You know,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Same thing I was thinking, and that is great example. Crispy one, great bracelet, double signed, whatever.
It was
you-
also
whatever
signed,
you like.
signed on the bracelet.
The bracelet was signed,
Back-
Serpico?
Yeah.
SNL? That's
Yes.
all.
Yeah,
That's
It
very
is.
cool.
It is.
SYL.
But this
On
is
the
like
bracelet.
Yeah,
this,
SYL. Indeed.
this is actually maybe not this one specifically, but it's what you expect from the Geneva auction weekend.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's the place you go to see those kind of stuff. I mean, have you seen? Also, there was the Pink on Pink 1518 from
Yeah.
Sotheby's.
Yeah.
From Sotheby's and to be auctioned in New York.
Yeah.
I mean,
Super dial. Super dial.
Geneva is the only
But that
place.
one
you-
wasn't auctioned in Geneva yet.
No,
That
it
one
has
still
to be.
needs
Yes,
yeah.
I think it, New
But
York.
I saw
I
it in
guess.
the preview. Yeah, the
Yeah,
New York
that's it.
auction.
So it's really what you expect from Geneva. In fact, I was kind of not shocked, but I mean, the catalog from this year's Philips auction was totally different from the previous ones. Like
Mhm.
many independent pieces and
Yeah.
less vintage.
Less
And
vintage.
so seeing this one was like, okay, I'm still at Philips. I know where I am.
There we go.
Great.
This is for me. This is benchmark
It is.
Mhm.
catalog stuff from the auctions.
Yeah.
You know, this is what you want to see and printed on the front page of the catalog.
Exactly.
And you don't. And I do enjoy those FP journals and everything, but
All
you
them,
don't
yeah.
want that watch in the
No.
catalog. It's a weird watch. This is what the auction stands for. This is the watch you cannot just fetch with any dealers, and therefore I believe any price almost is justified, because first
Yeah.
of all it's a pretty unique watch with the cervical lino. Second of all, it's historically important, and third of all, which we do not have to forget, is that you create its own provenance when buying it at the auction, and nobody can get it regardless. So in 5 years' time, you also have like a USP that
Yeah.
it was sold at auction and etc. And FP
Especially
Journal,
this auction.
especially this auction
Yeah.
and
Yes.
FP Journal or whatever, it's like, yeah, okay, you know, if you try real hard and you have the right context, you can still buy it anywhere else.
Yeah, that's the difference between vintage good pieces and modern good pieces. I
Mhm.
mean, but yes, this is benchmark, as you said. It's the watch you want to see at the auctions, and it's really the type of stuff that you come home and like you tell your friends you've seen, because
Yeah.
it's something that maybe won't appear again in the market for the next 20 years. I don't know,
Very true.
but
I will get another Peroni, yeah, if it's okay with you. The Dutch Peroni.
next time.
Okay, Andiamo. This time we have this watch. Dennis, please
37.
enlighten us.
3700.
But?
Slash 13.
Exactly.
It's
Spiced up.
double row of diamonds on the bezel.
Yes.
Yeah.
But do you know why I included this?
I'm personally.
I was
because
curious
we
about
saw
it.
This is our watch.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but-
we sold it to a client,
Okay, and he put it
and he
on
put it at auction.
Great.
And I feel kind of bad for the result. Like we sold it for less, huh? to be
Okay,
honest,
Yeah.
okay.
To him, so he got some profit on it. It sold at 170K now. We had the watch back in the days for a bit over 120, 25K, whatever. But this is the watch I used to bargain the 6541 deal that I will show you later. My
Okay.
Leo Gauss. I used this watch
Mhm.
as a trade-in in that deal. So for me, it's a pretty important piece. And he put it at auction
Yeah.
because he rarely wore it because of the diamonds and stuff. But the 170K is not a very strong result. So it was interesting to see our own watch at the auction.
Yeah, definitely.
And I hoped it would get more, you know, I hope my client would make more money out of it, but only a couple tens of thousands euros.
At least it's more and not less. But it was a strange auction this year. I mean, several, like, they made a record and they made several records, but some pieces I think that didn't get the attention they did deserve. Even from the independent selection, some pieces were skyrocket high, but other pieces went a little bit unnoticed. So I think that this one is one of them. But actually, it's not. I didn't even see that one, and I love
There you go.
diamonds.
There
so,
you go.
You know,
I'm
I don't
sorry
think
to
it's a
hear.
piece they like wanted to. I mean, I saw that one, and I had on a wrist, and it was really crazy. Like I saw that one and not the other one. So
For
Yep.
the camera, I now pointed out the 16568 lot 108. For the people that are paying attention, we saw this watch when 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And not this exactly,
This week, yeah.
but another 16568 with the same configuration, and it fetched 100.
Was the dial slightly different
Yeah.
compared to this
Yeah.
one? Because there are two
Yeah.
tight
yeah,
Three even.
exactly.
three.
3 even.
Right.
Yeah, so the subdials can either be silvered or champagne. We sold one
Yeah.
for 180K, this one
Yeah.
fetched 200K, and we just purchased another one. So we're gonna have one for sale too, but it still needs to be serviced probably around the end of the year. It's gonna list
So it.
180K-ish. So
Yeah.
similar price to the auction one.
Yeah. I mean that is really a crazy watch in my opinion. It's really something that as we were talking about it last night,
Mhm.
that was something that maybe nobody would have looked at
Oh yeah, definitely.
like
A
2
while
years ago
Yeah.
or 3 years ago. But nowadays it's like a watch to have,
Yeah.
like not a watch to have, because not anybody can pull, not everybody can pull this off.
Mhm.
This off, because I mean it's a little bit shiny. It's yellow gold. It's
For sure.
baguette diamond
Mhm.
bezel. I mean,
Now, when
Pretty
we're
massive,
looking at
yes.
this watch, I want to point out more diamond references for the Daytona, because we were sitting in the back of the room, and the gentleman I purchased a Paul Newman 6241 of, well, I have to be honest, Rutger bought it, and we bought this Benoit from. He also had a 6269, so the full diamonds
Mhm.
at Daytona, and we were trying to
Dude.
wheel and deal to get a client for that watch, and in the end he sold it an hour later for 1.1 million, so that's a pretty strong price.
Yeah.
He sold it like in the back of the room. And there's the best one ever is coming up for auction, in my honest opinion. Dr. Krot auction is auctioning the 6270.
yep.
So also
So
with
it's-
baguettes, that's the craziest watch. I think it will be sold in excess of 2 million, but it might reach up to 4 million or 5 million.
Can we
anything
say-
But
like that.
why
Can we
that
say-
auction house?
That's
That's
funny
those-
because we had that watch offered in the beginning of the year from a German guy. So
Yeah.
it's a German auction house.
Maybe it's
And
the same guy.
It's probably he might know the owner or via, and then again, bear in mind, it's a private client, and he may be getting a better rate,
better deal,
putting it
right?
at
Yeah.
Krot, because it's a lot of commercial for Krot. So Krot will say, when we sell it, we will give you 0% commission. We will give you the full amount on the hammer price. Whilst, for example, Philippe or Christie's might say, listen,
Yeah.
you have to pay 10% or
Sure.
8% or whatever.
Sure.
So that might be, and I think it's a smart thing, because regardless what auction house you put it at, everybody, this watch is so unique and so desirable, everybody will
Yeah,
notice it.
everyone is talking about it. Even like right now, I saw it yesterday on Instagram. And can we say it's the best gem set Daytona?
For
ever
me, it's
made?
the best watch in the world, one of the best watches in the world,
Well,
and this, for sure the best gem set Daytona in my humble opinion, 100%. Yeah.
I think we like gem setting.
We like gem setting. We're going to continue with a 18058, possibly unique Rolex date. People are now very fond of the Rainbow Daytona, the Rainbow Yachtmaster, or whatever. But this watch came way before. This is a late 80s example.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
It's crazy. The first thing that I noticed on this watch was not all the gem setting, but the black day and date.
That's pretty cool indeed.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool indeed. Which is not necessarily unique on a date, since you also have 18058 with sapphires, then it has a blue date and day disc, and with rubies it can have a red day and date disc. But this watch is a prime example of one of the best day dates they ever
Yeah,
created.
it's all sapphires, right? This
All
one?
sapphires. Yeah. Yeah.
Fetching a good result as well. Like
Yeah. What do you do?
excess of 700,000.
Yeah.
So with an estimate of 150, 300. But
Almost doubled.
for me, it's
More
a great
than
watch,
doubled.
but doesn't get me the same feeling of some other pieces. I mean, I don't like the dial on that one. It's really like the watch is shiny itself, but the dial
Mhm.
is super cold somehow. Can we say this? I mean, it has a great personality overall, but I don't like the dial at all.
Yeah, the dial has like
Makes-
horizontal lining on the dial. Yet I have to be honest, I am
like it.
happy they kept the dial clean.
Yeah.
So all the attention goes out to both the gem setting on the indices as
And
well as the bezel.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
true,
you would
but-
have like a crazy dial, then it would be just an overkill.
Yeah.
So this is actually
Think
a
so
pretty
too.
wearable piece as well. And it's justified for being so rare. I'm just wondering why this wasn't taken into the account when the Glamorous Dated auction happened a couple of years ago. Because this is the epitome of a Glamorous Dated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. I've seen another one recently, but it was the one also with a pavé. I can't remember what pavé dial and pavé bracelet. Could be.
Yeah, that was a Sotheby's.
No,
Pavé dial.
private collection.
Oh, private collection.
But that one, in my
Okay.
opinion, is way better.
Ah, okay.
That
No,
one
I
is way better.
didn't see that. This one I don't want to talk about actually. It's a 14544 BA, which in the end we lost as an underbidder. So we were bidding on this watch. It's a 36 millimeter. It's pretty rare to have this in this case size. It's rather large. Automatic movement, gem set. We were going until 50k on the hammer, but we didn't reach the agreement when some guy it was a battle back and forth, and the other guy went to 55 and then it hammered off.
Yeah.
So fuck this watch.
From the outside, that's the good part of the auctions. Like
Yeah.
you see the action.
Yeah,
Fuck off this watch, yes, but I think it's pretty underrated as well. Or am I wrong?
for sure. In the end, I might even be regretful not topping his bid, but that's the thing. So if I
You
would top
never know. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
go to 60. This
Yeah.
guy can go to 65. In the
Yeah.
end, it might have sold for 80 or 90,
Mhm.
and then it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
And we have a
Sure.
similar one coming soon in white gold, though.
Haven't seen this one.
You haven't seen it.
Nope.
No, it's at AP at the watchmaker. Paul Newman.
Yeah.
Dennis, we've looked at many
This-
Paul Newmans.
yeah, definitely. I think we've seen them all
Yeah, at the auction we've seen all the Paul Newmans. Yeah, for sure.
several times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
inspected
definitely.
everything.
Yeah. This one this was actually up for auction when we were buying it in the back of the.
Yeah, so that was
room.
funny
Yeah.
because we were closing our deal for slightly
Yeah.
over 200k, whilst this one
Wow.
sold for double
Mhm.
400k. But that's the thing with auctions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do believe this is a justified result. Paul Newmans
Yeah.
always are strong in auctions. Many people want this watch. But when you are at those auction weekends, you do notice how many there are around.
Yeah.
So it's not like you have, you really feel special wearing a Paul Newman, I can really tell you that. But then you come into the restaurant of La Réserve and half the people are wearing a Paul
Yeah.
Newman.
Yeah. I remember my first time in Parma. Like I was a kid, and
Mhm.
basically I heard that Paul Newman was super rare Rolex.
Yeah.
Went to Parma, so like 34, 35 for sale, and I was like, okay, that's not rare. Like
Uh-huh.
it could not be rare. Everyone has it.
But that's also
So-
the thing with the Richard Mille, going fucking only on Chrono 24,
Yeah.
they're already like 200 the Richard Mille. I'm like, is that really rare? Whilst
No,
if
it's
you take
not.
a look at 5513
Yeah.
gilt dials on Chrono 24, probably there are like maybe
Mhm.
10 for sale.
Yeah.
And then people regard Richard Mille as rare, whilst the other counterpart from
It's
the
more
vintage pieces
statement,
is
man.
Rolex. Yeah.
It's
But
more
maybe it's
statement,
rare,
I mean.
but everything is on the market.
Yeah.
It's almost a dealer's watch.
It's a dealer's
Yeah.
watch. People.
So only dealers
it's
buy
a
it.
currency.
Yeah.
It's a
It
currency.
is. It is.
It's not for the people that.
But
really
it's
enjoy
more a mass watch. Like everyone knows it. Everyone
Mhm.
noticed this.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like a statement piece. It's the statement piece for everyone.
Yeah.
Not price wise, because they're pricey. But
Mhm.
I mean, if you have one, everyone knows that you
Yeah.
have one.
Yeah.
And so basically, I mean, that's their strength in the end.
Do you know why I included this? And that we're happy that Rutger is not here for this video.
Nope.
I included this one.
Oh, yes, I know. Yeah.
Please enlighten the people.
Actually, this specific, not this watch, but a similar watch like this was offered to us, and I think Rutger let it go on the shipping costs
I swear.
of like
300 euros.
300 euros. So okay, now we're not gonna do that. Fuck you.
Yeah, that was so painful. We closed the deal. We closed the deal at 33k,
Yeah.
and bear in mind this was already a year ago,
Mhm.
so the prices.
I think we
Yeah.
didn't say which watch was it.
Yeah, it's a 5066
Yeah.
with the blue dial, so it was made for Japan. It's quite a rare specimen. 5066 being the smaller watch, but the blue dial being very vibrant.
Even a tasteful one.
Yeah, I dislike that they didn't match it with the blue bracelet because you
Oh.
have a blue
There's
badge.
a
Okay.
So this is the black
Didn't
one,
see that.
which is very odd because you can still
Yeah.
order the blue one.
Yeah.
So why not just pair it? We saw the red one, like the 5065 with the red, the
But
plum dial, one of only two known.
Yeah, exactly.
And we sold it for 175,000 euros, but that also came on a red
Yes.
bracelet matching, and then it's so more vibrant and,
It
and
is.
colorful.
Definitely.
Yet we closed this deal on 33k, Rutger did,
Mhm.
and then the guy was like, yeah, and please wire another 300 euros, we didn't wire yet, and please wire 33.3 for the shipping. A dealer said that. And we're like, dude, how all of a sudden you include the shipping cost? So no, you have to ship it for free, because that's actually
No
usual
way.
with all the dealers, you know, the shipping is
Yeah.
for free. It's weird, we just closed 33k and then you're gonna add 300 euros for shipping. It's kind of weird. So I get that. And then the dude was like, well, then fuck you. And then he sold it to somebody else. And then in the end it sold at Collected Man for like 60,000 euros.
Yeah.
Well.
And this one fetched 120,000 Swiss francs. So Rutger and I were laughing and crying a little bit in the back of the room.
I mean, how many of these were made? I don't know.
It's not limited, so I believe it's not limited at least.
So maybe one other will pop out.
We will get one for sure. Okay, so we're gonna move over from the Philips auctions. They did great. First of all, I don't know if she's watching, but Virginie, thank you so much for your hospitality. She's one of the best ladies in the watch scene. You know, we did many deals with her back in the days, and she even did a lecture with us when we had an event. One of the finest ladies, and I'm so happy to see you back at Philips because she had some health related things. So and also thank you to Alex Cotby for the hospitality always, and everybody from Philips did a great job.
So I say hello to Marcello. Italians and Italians,
Italians
please.
on Italians, Italians on Italians. And Tiffany did really good behind the...
Yeah?
Because I think it's really hard to be... How do you
After
say it?
Aurel.
After Aurel.
Auctioneering, yeah.
The auctioneer, because Aurel is so powerful with his charisma and everything.
Dude.
And then you have to be after him. It's pretty hard.
They set the bar pretty high.
They set the bar pretty high, and I believe for Tiffany it was her first time, but she did really well. I complimented her.
First time?
I believe so.
Wow. No. So great.
That was great. Yeah. Beautiful results have been made. So the Christie's one.
Yep.
The most coveted watch this weekend.
Yes.
And the most questioned watch this weekend.
In fact, the estimate was one thing, and the result was totally different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why?
But for both, there were two in the.
There were two.
Yes.
This one being the first one.
Yeah.
So they made this exceptionally historically important. That's what they say themselves. Deep sea special for testing. They also made many to give out for display purposes for dealers to show like, oh, we did this thingy, blah blah. But they weren't actually tested. Whilst they did claim this one was, there's
because
an
of
article.
the crack of the dial of the glass as well.
Yeah, there's an article. So they made pretty like 26 or so they made of these things, and there's an article by Periscope who claims, and he has some pretty strong documentation about it, that this wasn't the actual one that was constructed for depth pressure testing purposes.
I've heard it's the third one, or the third one was the one mounted on the Trieste.
Yeah, but this one is the first one. This is number one.
Yeah.
Christie's claimed this was the one that was used, and therefore has it having an estimate of 2 to 4 million, and
but
in the end
sold
it
for 1.8.
1.8.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a watch that, beside the historical part, has, in my honest opinion, nothing else. I mean, it's not wearable. It's not a watch that you can actually like. It has this two-tone stuff on a completely non-two-tone watch. Like, it's not even sporty. It's even more. So, I don't know if there's no history on that one. Then
I think somebody called it the most expensive presse-papier ever. That is pretty blunt.
It is. I mean, where else could you use it? So, yeah. It's a piece that didn't surprise me as much as I was expecting. I mean, everyone was talking about it on Instagram. Everyone from Geneva photographed it and posted. But when you see it in real life, I mean, besides the historical part.
But I think the article from Periscope, like the marketing behind it and the provenance that you can prove is eminent for the result. So if you can prove it, you will definitely get a great result. If you can't, you will probably be destroyed. And this is a great result of how things shouldn't turn out, but do in the end.
Yep.
Well, maybe you could expect it, because the one at Philips went for far below the estimate also.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't see that one. Yet that one wasn't as historical important as this one, because that one they marked it as
they got it from a museum.
Yeah, so that one they marked it
as
being a watch that they gave out for display purposes, etc. Interesting, but not a great result.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing that special in the end.
Okay, Dennis.
Coming back, yep.
You need to talk about this watch.
Okay.
Because it's in front of us.
Yes. Not specifically this watch, but actually we bought it in Geneva. It's reference number 5100. It's a Beta Quartz, made in 1970. So it's the first quartz watch or quartz movement made in Switzerland. I think about 20 watch companies.
21.
21?
It's a Beta Quartz 21.
Around 20.
21 to be precise.
Companies they use this movement for the watches, and
including
if it's correct, no one really knows, but I think around 900 are made.
Yeah.
But not
100, I guess. In
Yeah,
white
100
gold.
white gold.
So,
But
Well,
you hear different
some people
stories.
say 100, some people say 200
Yeah.
in white
Yeah.
gold.
heard the
So
same.
I've heard 900 and 900.
What the hell, no.
But
Yeah,
this, regardless, this is 100% one of the only limited editions numbered of Rolex,
Rolex,
ever. They did
yes,
the King Midas, of
exactly.
course. But this
Yeah.
is another example, and this is for many reasons an interesting watch because it indeed is the first quartz movement by Rolex. It's the first limited edition watch by Rolex. It's the first Rolex with a quick set date function.
And
And the first Rolex
With
with the
sapphire.
sapphire crystal is the first Rolex with an integrated precious metal bracelet.
It was the most expensive one at the time, if I remember well.
When it was launched, it was the most expensive one, besides some special requests like the
Sure.
1831 for the Sheikh of Iraq or whatever, or the Sheikh of India. So it's in many reasons an interesting piece, and especially in white gold, it's pretty uncommon. And this one was picked up by Adam Menta.
The hammer price
had
65, right?
great fun with.
Yes.
I think hammer price was 60k, and in the end, including premiums, it was 75k,
Super
something
possible,
like that,
yeah.
65, 75. So basically around the same price as we purchased ours.
But
however,
condition.
this one.
And it
I don't want to fuck
Yeah.
over Adam here, but our
Yeah,
condition is
sure.
better.
Sorry.
My dick is bigger, Adam.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Sorry,
And
Adam,
If we
but
may
this one
say-
is better.
If we may say this is the most Genta roll, like Genta did nothing especially with the most sought after models
Yeah.
of nowadays,
it
but
might be.
that one is the most Genta-ish model
Yeah.
from Rolex I know. So
And what I like is the very big font that they used on the
Mhm.
Rolex. It's very large, and actually like the long minute markers.
Yes.
The crazy
Yeah.
minute markers. It's a pretty cool watch.
But I think that for someone that really doesn't know the watch, it may look like a fake Rolex.
Many people will think
Yep.
it. Many people will think it.
It's also not oyster case.
No. And people always know the sweeping seconds of Rolex, but this is actually sweeping seconds.
Yes, it is.
Because
Very
a regular
simple.
Rolex, they still tick like 6 or 8 times per second. This one really sweeps.
Yeah.
Very strong condition, white gold bezel.
Good bracelet as well. Yep.
Yeah. Thank
What
you,
really,
Jeff Harris.
what really amazes me is, so they used this glass in 1970, but it took up to 7 to 8 years before they started bringing it in production.
Yeah, because they utilized the first other models with the sapphire crystal on the first other models was the 77, 78.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the day date.
Yeah. And also the Datejust 16018. The
Yeah.
gold Datejust
Yeah.
had a sapphire crystal.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It took like 7 years. 7 years is a
That's
long
a
time.
lot. Yes.
If you already have the technique for it.
Yeah, that's true. Pretty cool. So we're happy to have this in the collection. It will launch next week
Yep.
for sale. We didn't have to
Tuesday.
service it
Tuesday.
because it's a
Yeah.
quartz movement, so that's a good thing about
As
it.
long as it's running, it's okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
because it
Yeah.
can be pretty hard. Make
To
no
service
mistake.
these ones.
Yeah, if you buy them in auction and there's a piece missing in the movement, it's
Mhm.
very hard to get the right parts.
And I think that Beta 21 are getting good attention nowadays. Like I saw a couple collectors, a friend of mine, buying one and
Mhm.
not from Rolex but from other brands. And
I know Omega still has the service parts for them.
Hmm.
oh,
Yep.
great.
Yeah, and they also uses donor movement, so many people just buy up a different Beta 21 like an Omega,
Yep.
and then use the parts for the Il Texano.
Yes.
Up next is this watch, which is very dear to me. Another friend of mine, Sergeant, you know, in World Time.
Yeah.
This weekend he picked up 2 World Time watches. The one from Agassiz and
The
one
other one,
Patek Philippe.
I
Havana.
witnessed it. Amazing watch. Amazing one.
Wow, very cool.
Le
piece.
Palais Royal.
Yes, so
So
big
great.
congrats to you,
Yeah.
Sergeant, for picking up 2 World Times. But the best World Time this weekend, without a doubt, was this 25-23.
Le Palais Royal was good as hell,
Ah,
Good
okay,
as hell.
But let's see this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at the dial, like a salmonish color dial, beautiful the guilloche. I love the crowns on both sides because of course you have different configurations.
Super
You have
symmetrical, yet with the hands
With the
that are
neck
not
lugs and the
symmetrical.
neck lugs, the beautiful hands. We went to the Patek Philippe Museum,
Yeah.
of course, because Dennis was never in Geneva, so you have to take him to the Patek Philippe Museum.
Maybe the best place in Geneva.
And
Arguably.
I think the most impressive display is the one where there are
With the
like
world time.
20 different
Yes.
type of world times.
Yeah.
I think the word time is the next one.
Yeah.
I mean, the next these already fetch good results, but in general, I think that world timers are not getting the attention they deserve because it's one of the most poetic complication and
might be the most romantic configuration.
And also, I have an interview with a friend of Sergio, by the way, coming up on Sunday, and the guy says, hello Zoran, by the way, Zoran says that it's one of the few things that an iPhone doesn't give you. It shows all the cities and all the times on the cities at the same time. Yeah. You don't get it looking at your iPhone. And that's
I'm
something.
Pretty sure you can download an app though.
Never looked for it, but I mean
it's a nice story.
It's a nice story. Yes. 2.7 million it reached in Swiss francs, and it was one of the few watches that reached a very good price, like a very high price, that was actually sold within the room to a guy, to a gentleman from Middle East who purchased this watch, a collector. Because many of these watches that are sold over $1 million goes to phone bidders or absentee bidders or online bidders
who maybe are in the room but doesn't want to get noticed.
Exactly. So it's nice to see somebody really being proud, and when he won the lot, you know, everybody was hugging him and congratulations with the example, and it's really
he got a pretty good one, man.
It's a good one. If you have the money in the bank, this is a good watch to buy. Yet don't play golf with it because you fuck up the movement really poorly.
Yeah, the dial was the best part in my opinion. I mean, the guillochage was insane.
Yeah,
it was pretty clean. The whole case was good. I mean,
the case was sharp.
Yeah. It was really a watch to have if you have that much money.
What was the diameter on this one?
So good.
It was, I don't remember, but actually on the
35.5.
So not that small.
Yeah, I was actually
not that small.
Did we have this out on the viewings?
No, we didn't, because it was
like a special one. They had to call someone.
When we came in twice, but somebody was already viewing it. Yeah. You have to wait for a long time then. So we actually didn't see this watch in the flesh.
And you wanna look at it for more than 2 minutes. So you take your time with it.
There we go. Yeah. From Christie's we move on to another tank, or another Cartier, the Tank Cintré.
They had some good stuff this year. Sotheby's had some really nice stuff.
This was not one of them, I think.
Well, I don't believe so either.
We've studied this watch.
We studied this watch very thoroughly, and I have to be careful pronouncing this, but I don't believe this watch was in a condition one would pay
that much.
10 times the low estimate for, and we're talking about 315k. Now I do love the good Tank Cintré.
Yes.
And the case wasn't that bad.
I haven't had it on my wrist, so
the dial
I can tell.
The dial was not. There are some. Let's say there are some doubts from our sides on the dial.
Okay. I haven't seen it in the metal, so I really can't tell. But I mean, the only good story about this one is that, for what I understood, it was with the next one we're talking about. Like, it's from the same person, so maybe. I mean, there's something about it. Like, maybe they bought it one and the other one for the how it's called. One for the husband, one for the wife, and so there's a little bit of story, but still, even the next one is like the dial was a little bit.
Yeah. So this watch reached 315k, and I think it's not worth it in my humble opinion.
But there's a lot of hype
because of the dial, especially. Okay, but if you're gonna spend 300k, you want a prime example.
Yeah, I don't want a one from 1975. Yeah. That's the first part.
Yeah.
Even with a great dial and whatever, but I don't want that one.
If Cartier would make a museum, this one wouldn't belong.
No, for sure.
And in my opinion, the next one wouldn't either.
No, we're talking about the Crash London, which is actually something. Record price,
800,000.
I heard, yes, and with all the other the taxes and everything, way more. But still, I mean, that's the only thing we spoke about at the auctions, basically. Yeah. I think that was a little bit polished. I mean, that's not the case.
It was polished.
Yeah, more than a little bit.
It almost looked like your watch. That one, it was so polished. It looked like.
Yeah. In fact, it was my first time.
Have you seen this one in person?
Yes, it was my first time seeing. The fact is, I don't want to say too much because it's the only London First Series I've ever seen in my life. So what I thought is maybe they made all like this. So having seen just one, but I was super excited about seeing the first version of the Crash.
Yeah.
And I got there and I was like, okay, but the dial sucks.
Yeah.
For real. I mean, not that one specifically, but
Yeah.
it was kind of a bad one.
Mhm.
It seemed like hand painted at all.
Yeah,
Like, but
I also didn't have any reference points, but when I saw the dial, look, shit, I think 1975. If you look at, for example, the Jumbo tank, the
But
way the dial's perfect.
Yeah.
If you look at this dial,
I
it
think
looks like
I've
was
heard
horrible.
I've heard somewhere that the first ones were actually hand painted.
yeah.
So maybe it's okay like that, but it's like a hand painting that I
Mhm.
could do, and I'm not that good at painting. I
Yeah.
mean, football and painting. It's
Yeah,
a no, but still,
that
it's
would
an
explain.
important piece.
Yeah.
It's important because it's first series.
Yeah, and the Paris one from 1991 has a more edgy case.
Yes.
So at
Whereas a
first, if
little
you
bit
compare it,
worse.
because of course we
Mhm.
had the Crash Paris,
Yeah.
so we're maybe used to that shape, and then you see this one, and it looked like a polished off one. It's larger and it has less edgy
Edges.
things. You
Yes,
know?
it is less edges.
However, 800,000 is a future price.
It
I
is.
believe it will reach this point
For
at a
sure.
certain. But
As well.
I'm thinking it's a little bit premature to call this a good buy.
Not today.
No.
Not today. It may will be because they made so few, but I mean it's way too polished. I mean, if I want to crash, I prefer the new London one to that one.
You
Yeah.
don't see the back on the pictures, right?
Nope.
No, you can't see it.
No.
And what's a shame is that they don't have the clasp with
Yeah.
that you do have on the Paris
Yeah.
one.
And also
And
on my
on your
watch.
one, that you have also the crooked clasp. That's a
Yeah.
pretty cool feature.
Yeah.
But you don't have this on the London, so it's not the problem
Okay.
of the watch, but it's just not in the London one, right?
Yeah, it's way less funny.
Yeah.
And
less
that
funny.
watch is funny if it's not fun as
Yeah.
watch. I mean,
Another watch we were trying to fetch is this one,
Yeah.
partnering up with Jeff Harris to get this yellow cap Stella, is what they call. When first thing what we noticed when we had the watch in the
Orange.
hand, it's orange.
Orange. Yeah.
It's
Orange
yellow
cap.
in the picture,
Orange cap.
but when you have it in
Orange.
your hand, it's
Yeah.
orange.
Yeah.
It was dope.
Definitely. Condition of the dial was nice, but not perfect.
Yeah, that chip at the day window.
Chip at the day, some cracks at the date.
The loop plots are
Tritium was
Yeah.
Haven't seen
almost
that one.
gone. Hands later.
And another thing, 18388. It's a pretty late example. It's late 90s.
Mhm.
I believe at these Swiss T dials, it's a pretty late case for this early dial.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the watch has been born like this whatsoever. It's a very cool piece. It's a very flamboyant piece. I would love to have taken it for like 70k hammer.
Mhm.
In the end, it sold for 94, including premium.
Yeah.
So we were pretty close dealing this. But it was also a watch that has been unsold previously.
Mhm.
so
And
maybe-
therefore, it didn't have a great reputation already.
Yeah.
The track record wasn't that good. So
But still, do you think on a watch like this, do the hands matter?
the hands
You
don't
don't,
matter.
you
at
don't
all.
really care, right?
No, the hands don't matter.
If they've been replaced. Yeah.
And also
who cares? Yeah.
the chip on the window, it wasn't that annoying to me.
No.
I liked it actually.
But just small things, because small things, big price. But
Yeah, but it didn't reach its estimate for a couple times. So then now they lowered the estimate to 50 to 80k. It fetched 94k. I think the seller is happy. He's done with the watch. But if he came to me, I would definitely give him a better price and then didn't have to pay all the premiums.
for the next one. That's for the next one.
Yeah, that's for the next one. Now, Dennis, enlighten us on the John Player Special 6264.
okay. Yeah, we've also seen this one in person.
And this is the watch like when you were walking into the Mandarin, it was this big on the
Was
pictures. It was on
everywhere.
their catalog. You know,
Yes.
this is
Yeah.
their top piece with an estimate of 800 to 1.2 million, 800,000.
Yeah. But when we looked at the watch, it kind of looked like it was reloomed.
I'm pretty sure it's fucking real.
And yes.
I'm not only
I'm
sure it's
just
real, but that's
Yeah.
best case scenario. It was real.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there was also some weird paint underneath the loom, which you can
Yes.
see on a like
Mhm.
diagonal
Yeah.
with the loop. You can see some black
Uh-huh.
shit underneath.
And we were not
The subdials looked cleaned. And
Yeah.
the watch didn't fucking. I don't want to make a mess out of this,
Mhm.
you know. So I'm gonna say it's my opinion, but it's
I
my
would-
opinion. This watch is not the configuration as it should be,
Yeah.
and is well, you can see it actually because it sold for like 800
and good
change.
JPS, so sell for
JPS
good
in
prices.
this market, it's fucking cheap.
Yeah.
Yes.
This was not a good watch.
No.
Really not a good watch.
Definitely not.
Everything I saw about the watch, I wouldn't touch it with a
Mhm.
5-foot stick.
Yeah.
To be honest.
There was also the other Paul Newman Daytona, which we didn't pick, that was restored by Rolex.
Yeah, that was
And-
interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Because then you could kind of see, is it acceptable for a brand to restore such an iconic watch, and what will it fetch? But it didn't go really high, but
A reasonable price.
a reasonable price. Yeah, because you could definitely see it had been restored. It was like perfect, but
It restored by the artisans of Rolex,
yeah,
like the
the
Rolex
wooden box.
Heritage
Okay.
department.
Yeah.
But we
Well,
were having this
yeah.
discussion with another dealer too, and he did say like, you know, the Last Supper, that was also totally vanished. Like you could barely see
Yes.
the
Yeah.
picture, and it was restored, and still it's
Masterpiece.
you know. So
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
And
But
I
this,
do
this is
believe
not the Last Supper. It's
this is not the Last Supper.
It's-
This
it
is like
came from a factory. And
this is a draw. This is a drawing from a child.
Yeah.
Not the Last Supper. This is not a Michelangelo or a Rembrandt van Rijn.
But they still, like, shouting out to Sotheby's, they still have what is to be considered the best 1518.
You only want to make friends, no enemies, huh?
Yeah.
No, it's not like
Yeah.
this, but still, I mean, I try to look at the good side.
If
That's
you want
not
to
the
buy,
good side.
If you want to buy an opinion, his is for sale.
Yeah.
So make sure you reach out to I Am Casa.
No, that's not true, but still.
I'm kidding, bro. I'm kidding. And regardless, shout out to all the auction results, auction houses fetching these results.
Yeah.
Furthermore, of course, the buyers, some beautiful watches have been sold. The sellers, also congratulations on some awesome gains for many people.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed the video. You did?
I did.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think it's time to make a video for your channel. So also follow I Am Casa.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see some cool content on his account. He tries to copy us a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, but they let me, so.
Thank you so much for
Okay.
being here. And thank you,
Thank you
Dennis,
guys for
for the
this
second
opportunity.
video
Yeah.
you did.
You're welcome.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give a thumbs up. If you don't, fuck off our account.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao!
Ciao.
Andiamo, ragazzi!
Andiamo, ragazzi.